Have you ever gotten a violation for driver qualification files in a DOT audit? It's actually a lot more common than you might think. Why? Well, probably because you got into trucking to drive, not file a bunch of paperwork about your drivers. I know, paperwork is the most boring part of any job, but unfortunately it has to be done. And because you operate commercial vehicles, you have to comply with all the government regulations that come with it. So to make things easier, I'm going to try and break this down for you. Just so you know, there is a downloadable PDF version of what I'm discussing in the article. That link is in the description. Or you can always call, email, or fill out the form in the description below if you have any DQF related questions. One of our DOT compliance specialists would be happy to help you. So let's start off simple. What are driver qualification files? Well, first of all, you may hear it referred to as DQF or DQ file, so don't let that confuse you. It's all the same thing. A driver qualification file is basically a driver's personnel file and is required for anyone that drives a commercial motor vehicle. And when I say anyone, I mean anyone that would set foot in a CMV, even to move it. This could mean a mechanic quickly moving a vehicle, the company owner moving a vehicle, a part-time or temporary driver, or a driver who works for a private company. So when you hire a driver, whether it be full-time or temporary, it should be regular practice to build a driver file for that person. And when you do that, you need to include all of the following items and then some: driver's licenses, employment applications, previous employer inquiries, motor vehicle records, credit history, background checks, drug test results, FMCSA clearinghouse queries, medical certificates, and the list goes on. From a DOT standpoint, most companies get violations for a few reasons. They may have taken shortcuts during the hiring process. They could have staff members managing driver files that are not trained in DOT regulations, or if their fleet is not specifically focused on trucking, they just don't realize they need to meet these requirements. I will say that you will go through an audit. Every company does. So you want to make sure everything is in order when you do. And let me tell you from experience, the government may take a while to let you know you did something wrong, but when they know, they are on it and they won't go away. You will pay what you owe, you will do whatever corrective action they make you do, or you will suffer the consequences. Trust me, there are government employees just sitting at their desk waiting for you to show up on their list and start hammering you with emails, letters, calls, you name it. It's what they live for. We'll throw another reference link above for you that discusses driver file management, what that service looks like on our end, and how to avoid violations. But let's discuss a little more about what needs to be collected, maintained, and updated, because there are some initial steps and ongoing steps you need to take. So initially, when onboarding a new driver, there are several key documents that need to be collected and retained. These include the driver's application for employment, road test certificate, 3-year motor vehicle record, their pre-employment drug and alcohol test results, and previous employer inquiries. The employer inquiries investigate the driver's past 3 years of driving and their safety history. This needs to be done within 30 days of hiring the driver. You will also need records of any corrections or rebuttals to the driver's safety history. And just so you know, all these documents need to be retained as long as they are employed and 3 years after they leave your company. That's right, you heard me right. I said 3 years after leaving. It's kind of like taxes. You don't just burn all your tax documents right after filing your taxes and say, well, I'm glad that's over, do you? Of course not. You keep them in your files for several years. Why? Well, in case you get audited. Now, does this seem like a lot to manage? Well, if so, that's because it kinda is. And I haven't even mentioned some of the things you need to update on an ongoing basis to stay compliant. Those include annual inquiries to state agencies for motor vehicle records, annual reviews of driving records to verify they meet the safety standards, a biannual medical exam or physical confirming drivers are medically fit to operate a CMV, and you need to verify that the medical examiner is certified. And all these documents need to be maintained for the same amount of time, 3 years from the date they occur. There are even more documents that need to be maintained in other special situations, but we'll just keep it to the basics right now. If you have any questions about the DQ file process, regulations, or an audit you've gone through, just give us a call, email us, or fill out the form below, and a DOT compliance specialist will help you out.